Today we're going to get to a recipe that has been on my list for months, and I'm so excited that we're finally getting to it. So welcome to Grow and Preserve. I'm Carter. I'm so glad you're here today. Let's get started. This one is from the good old standby Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. I know most of you probably have this cookbook. I know it's available in libraries and stuff if you don't. But you know we're going to do a lot of chutneys this summer when the fruit and veggies start coming in. This is one we can do now because it doesn't involve any fresh fruit or vegetables, which, you know, may sound a little odd, but it uses a lot of beautiful dried fruits. So this one has apricots and penny dates and raisins and a lot of seasonings just from the pantry. So I think that this is going to be a delicious recipe, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with you today. If you haven't had a chutney before, it's usually a little sweet. Well, this one's going to be a little more sweet because, you know, we're talking loads of dates and apricots. And it's a little spicy. And this one, the spice does not come in the form of a jalapeno, which often it does in a chutney. But it's going to come in ginger and mustard seeds. And then there's the vinegar component. And we're going to use a white wine vinegar today. All right, so let me read you the description of this one. This dark golden chutney is delicious, served with tagines or Moroccan stews. It has only a few ingredients, all of which are available year-round, making it a great recipe to prepare on a rainy day, which actually it is a rainy day today. Filling your kitchen with enticing aromas as it simmers. Does that sound amazing or what? All right, let's get started on this one. I've got you over here by the stove because it is one that we're going to bring to temperature first, and then it'll be a hot pack, and it's going in the water bath canner. So super, super easy. We haven't done a water bath canning recipe in a long time, and we haven't done a chutney in months and months. So it's gonna be a good one today. All right, we're gonna put all of this straight into the pan. So the first thing I did, and I did this before I brought you on, is I measured out 2 pounds of dried apricots, just literally, you know, from Costco here. 2 pounds of dried apricots, and then you soak them in water for 30 minutes. So cover them with water, soak them, drain them, and then chop them into little bits. And my bits, you know, here's my raisin, right? There's my raisin, and there's my apricot. So I don't even know if you can see that. So roughly the same size, maybe a little bit bigger. You can see my dates. You know, dates are so sticky. They may be a little bit bigger too, but there's date, raisin. So I kind of want everything roughly the same size. All right, let's get started loading this up. We're going to put everything in the pot all at once and then take it over to the stove. So this was 2 pounds of apricots that I soaked, dried apricots that I soaked, drained, and chopped. We have 2.5 cups of raisins, and these are just, you know, just plain old everyday raisins. You can use golden raisins. These are cheaper, quite frankly, so, and that's what I had in the pantry, so that's what I used. And dates. If you've worked with dates before, you know just how sticky they are. It was quite something chopping those up, so you're welcome for chopping those before you saw me. All right, and then I'm gonna need 2 cups of water. Okay, 2 cups measured out. And let's get to the 2 cups of white wine vinegar. This is the one I use, but any white wine vinegar is just fine. In fact, probably apple cider vinegar would be fine too. I just hate to use that in something I'm going to heat because it kills the mother. All right. Let's see. I don't have any room over here. I tried to get you in a better spot for cooking, but I don't have any room over here. All right, we're going to do sugar. All right, this calls for 3 pounds of lightly packed brown sugar. I don't keep brown sugar in the house. I'm actually going to use allulose, but sugar is what it calls for, so feel free to use sugar. So 3 cups. Here we go. So I'm going to use 1. Let me count because I'll lose track. 2. 3. is a half cup measure. All right, 6. Okay, so I have 3 cups of allulose in there, or 3 cups of white sugar, or 3 cups of brown sugar. If you're using allulose or white sugar, you need to add some molasses to get to the brown sugar. So I'm just going to pour some in there. It said light brown sugar, so we'll go with maybe a tablespoon and a half. And then we're going to get to the seasonings, and that's it before we put it on the stove. So let's do ginger. Let me see, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. Now I think I'm gonna go over on the ginger because I really like the ginger taste. So I use 2 heaping teaspoons of ground ginger. 1 tablespoon of mustard seed. And again, I'm okay going with a heaping tablespoon on that one. And coriander is a teaspoon of coriander. Again, perhaps a heaping teaspoon of coriander. And salt, 1 tablespoon of salt, which I did not get out. All right, tablespoon of salt. I'm going to put this on the stove for, I'm not going to go over on the salt. I'm going to put this on the stove for 20 minutes and it should thicken up. It says the consistency that'll mound on a spoon is what we're looking for. And while I'm doing that, I'll bring you over here and we can take a look at it as it goes. But I'm also going to start heating up my water bath canner. So this makes 12 half pints. That's a good bit, right? 12 half pints. So I got out the big canner. It's huge. It's my first canner ever though. So if I had one step down from this, I'd probably use that. I'm going to have to use some filler jars, but I'm going to get it filled up with water and get that turned on and heating up, and I'll get my jars heated up as well. All right, I'll be right back in a sec. All right, this is going to go for about 20 minutes. We'll bring it to a gentle boil and let it reduce down, and the sauce will thicken and all come together. You can see now it doesn't, of course, hold on a spoon, but when it comes time to can it, it'll pile up on that spoon and it'll hang out like it wants to be there. All right, so we'll let this go and I'll report back exactly how long it takes. I want to talk to you about one thing that I don't think we talk about very often when we're giving canning instructions. So I will post this link down below. This is from the Ball website. The instructions in the book say to process these jars for 10 minutes, but I'm below 1,000 feet above sea level. So when you hear that, process for 10 minutes, that is for folks who live below 1,000 feet above sea level. If you live above that, you do have to adjust your time. So I'm going to show you this on the screen and then I'm going to link it down below. If you don't know your elevation, you need to check that online. It's very easy to check it online. Just type in your zip code and elevation and you should come pretty close. And then you can check how long you really need to process something. So there could be different times for the water bath canning. We're getting close. We're about 19-20 minutes in, and I think we need another minute or two. I want the sauce to be a little bit thicker. I don't know if you can see that on camera. I hope you can. Still a little bit runny, but it's really thickening up nicely. And the fruit looks wonderful. So my jars are hot, my canner's hot. I'm going to start to get set up here in a second, and then we'll get these jars loaded. All right, let's go. My jars are hot. My water bath canner is hot. The filling is just delicious looking, absolutely delicious. So let's get this filled up. Ooh, not my best decision there. I'm going to fill these to 1/2 inch headspace. When I debubble, I'll come by and adjust. I'm kind of hoping that I have a little bit extra of this, so I can do a real taste test of it. It won't be, you know, when you have something like this, when you have a recipe like this that combines a lot of ingredients, a lot of different spices, other ingredients, you really want to let it sit for a while. This one is too full. I don't know if you can, I hope you can see that on screen. That was too full. I'm going to have to come back and adjust that. Right. I did taste the sauce in this. Oh my goodness, it's delicious. Sweet and spicy. Not really any heat, a little bit of spice from the mustard and the ginger. All right. I'm going to debubble these and see what needs to be adjusted. It smells so good in here. This one's going to be overfilled. I want 1/2 inch headspace, so I'm going to adjust these just a little bit. I need a little bit more. Clean these up. Remember, it's very sticky, has some molasses in there, sugar in there, all the sugar from the dried fruit. So anything on your rim could pose an issue, and you can see how much. All right, I'm going to get these in the canner, and then I'll get the rest of the jars filled. I don't know if I'm really going to have 12 jars worth, but we'll see. All right, just fingertip tight. All right, so once I get all of these in the canner, bring it up to a full rolling boil, and then that's when my timer starts. Okay. And I did have to use some filler jars. Did I just say that? I'm not sure, but I did. So I had to use 3 filler jars, just so my jars don't tip over. Look how beautiful that is. And your water bath canning. I know most of you know this, but if we have anyone new, you need a couple of inches, at least an inch, a couple of inches is my preference, of water over and above the top of the jars. So, all right, I'm going to get the rest of these filled up, and we'll come back when they're done. All right, everybody's in the water bath canner, and it's coming up to a boil. So that's going to take a few minutes to come up to a boil, and then we'll start the timer, and I'll do it for 10 minutes because I'm below 1,000 feet. But I thought I would give it a try. I'll tell you a secret, I already did give it a try, and it's fantastic. But I'll do it for you now. Take one for the team that's really for me, right? So, you can taste the spice to it. The fruit is great. It is sweet, but it's absolutely delicious. This is not even a totally fair test because it really should sit on the pantry shelf for at least a couple of weeks and melt the flavors together. But going into the jar, it's fantastic, and it's only going to get better as it sits on the shelf. So I'll bring you back when all these are done, but I'm thrilled with this one. Good one to give a try. All right, let's get these out of the canner. just as pretty as when it went in. There you go. All right, so we had 11 half pints come out of that recipe. Everybody looks good. I'm sure they're all gonna seal. All right, I'm gonna finish getting these out and put them on the shelf, and I'm sure you will see them in a future meal. They look delicious. Thanks so much for being here today. I'm always so glad that you show up to see what I'm doing at the kitchen. Thrilled to have you here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.